The music had already started when my phone vibrated. Not a call, a file. The screen glowed in my palm while the church lights dimmed. Guests leaned forward. Her father cleared his throat. Somewhere behind the doors, my wife adjusted a dress that cost more than my first car. I didn't open the file. I didn't need to. The file name was enough. A date, a time, a location I recognized. Bachelorette, private room, unfiltered. I slid the phone back into my pocket and lifted my head. The doors were still closed. The air smelled like lilies and old wood and expectation. People smiled at me like I was already forgiven for something I hadn't done. My heart didn't race. That came later. Right then, there was only a strange quiet, like the moment underwater when sound disappears and all you hear is the blood moving inside you. I thought about the first night we met, the way she'd watched me like I was a solution she hadn't realized she needed. I thought about the ring in my jacket pocket, heavy as a promise. The music swelled. I stood, and in that instant, before the doors opened, I was already miles away, standing in a dark room weeks earlier, staring at a screen, watching a version of my wife I was never meant to meet. It started with a laugh that didn't belong to her. We were in the kitchen, morning light, coffee cooling between us. She was scrolling through her phone, smiling at something just out of reach. I asked what was funny. She said nothing, too quickly, then kissed my cheek like punctuation. The laugh stayed with me. It echoed. Later that day, her phone lit up on the counter. A message preview flashed before the screen went dark again. No name, just an emoji, something celebratory, something shared. I told myself it was nerves. Weddings do that. They stretch people thin. They make secrets feel heavier than they are. But denial has a texture. It's sticky. It clings. That night while she slept, I watched the slow rise and fall of her back and realized I didn't know where her mind went when it wasn't with me. I'd assumed loyalty was a default setting. I'd mistaken familiarity for truth. The next morning I asked about the bachelorette party. She described it like a sanitized press release. Drinks, dancing, nothing crazy. She met my eyes while she said it. That was the moment something in me recalibrated. A quiet adjustment, a decision without ceremony. I stopped asking questions. Silence is an instrument if you know how to play it. I played it well. I smiled. I planned seating charts. I thanked her friends for their help. I nodded through stories that now sounded rehearsed. I listened more than I spoke. At night, I investigated. Phone records told me who called and when. Cloud backups filled in what she deleted. A friend of a friend owed me a favor from years ago, someone who worked security at a downtown hotel. I didn't rush. Rushing leaves fingerprints. The footage came last, a transfer made quietly, legally ambiguous, morally precise. I watched it alone, in a dark room, sound low. I didn't flinch. 5 men, different faces, familiar laughter. Her voice, lighter, looser, unburdened by vows that hadn't yet been spoken. I noted details, the way she checked the door, the way she smiled after, the way she reached for her phone at the end, typing something I recognized the rhythm of. I slept that night, deeply, calmly. From that point on, every interaction became a rehearsal. She cried over flowers. I held her. She talked about the future. I listened like an archivist. The closer we got to the wedding, the lighter she seemed. Relief, maybe, or the belief that she'd gotten away with something. I let her believe it. 3 days before the wedding, I asked her one question. Is there anything you haven't told me? She paused, just long enough, then smiled. No. I nodded. That was enough. I didn't show her the footage, not then. Truth loses its edge when revealed too early. I wanted the contrast, the before and after, to be unmistakable. I arranged for a screen, a technician, a playlist that included one file. I tested the timing, the volume, the lighting, everything in its place. On the morning of the wedding, she kissed me with trembling hands. Nerves, excitement, guilt hiding behind perfume. I told her she looked beautiful. She believed me. The doors opened, gasps, smiles, phones lifted, but I wasn't there. The aisle was empty. Confusion rippled through the room like a dropped glass. Then the screen behind the altar flickered to life. I watched from a distance, another city, another silence, as the footage played. No commentary, no edits, just time unfolding. Her mother stood, her father sat down. A bridesmaid covered her mouth. My wife froze, halfway between disbelief and recognition. The room filled with the sound she'd brought back from that night, the laugh that didn't belong to her. I didn't watch the whole thing. I turned off my phone and stepped outside into clean air. The world felt sharper, simpler, like something heavy had been removed from my vision. People will call it cruelty. They'll say I should have talked to her, that I should have forgiven, that love is patient. They mistake patience for passivity. I didn't do it to hurt her. I did it to end the lie. Somewhere behind me, a marriage dissolved before it began. In front of me, a road opened without names or expectations. I walked until the sound of bells faded, and for the first time since the file arrived, I felt nothing at all.